So this video is to run through the method around the SureScreen COVID-19 antigen test using a saliva sample primarily. This test can also be used with a nasopharyngeal sample as well, but the saliva represents the least invasive way of getting a legitimate sample. The process is using a cassette and a spit sample from the mouth, which we introduce to the cassette, and then it will give us a result in 10 minutes, whether the antigen is present or absent. Okay, so the first part of the process is to add a saliva sample to the test tube. So I'm going to do that now for you. So this is the little collector that we have, and within the kit we have these sort of wax card funnels. So it's a case of just putting that into the top of the vial like that, and then providing a sample down into the tube, like so. What we want to see is the sample between the first and second increments on the vial down here. So we just need to allow that to flow down into the tube before testing. Okay, so having added the sample, it's sitting just beyond the first line on the vial. So put that back down here, and then it's a case of adding the buffer to the vial as well. So these little sort of individual buffers are what we need, and you just twist the top off like so. Before adding that down into the vial like this. So just a little squeeze, a couple of squeezes there, empty the full contents in there. After that, we want to put the cap on, which is this red cap like that, and then we need to shake it 10 times. And then we sit it back in the holder there, and we get the cassette ready to test. So that's our next stage. So before opening this, it's always good to check that the test is within its expiry date. And then using the little notch at this end, we just open the cassette like that and push it out. So it's very, very simple, straightforward to use. The sample goes in here and we read the result in this area here. So take the red cap back off the vial and push this part down, which is the sort of nozzle. We invert the test tube like this, making sure that the saliva and the buffer run down to the tip here before adding 3 drops into the cassette. So adding the first one, we want to see that absorb before adding the second and then the third drop. And that can go back in the holder. So this test is ready to read at around 10 minutes, and what happens is that the sample is drawn up and we see a purple dye running up the test. That should leave behind a control line and then a test line if COVID-19 antigen is present. So after the 10 minutes have elapsed, we can read the result, and I'm glad to say that it's a negative result. We can see that by the fact that the control line is nice and full, nicely formed, and there is no test line that's formed at all. So that's a negative result. If there is a line that forms at the T zone, test zone, then COVID-19 antigen is present, and the intensity of the line may differ a little bit. It might be a bit fainter than the control line, but as long as a test line is there, then we would say that is a positive result. So as you can see, this test is very easy and straightforward to use. You don't have to sort of wait around for the sample to develop or anything like that. It's just a case of collecting it and it goes straight into the cassette. We would sort of urge that if somebody is conducting this on a donor, then they wear full PPE. And it's a good idea to make sure that you're fully aware of all the details in the product insert as well before testing. So yes, in summary, it's a very accurate and quick test to use. And if you do have somebody who is struggling with a saliva sample, you can always use a nasopharyngeal aspect for this test as well. If you require any further information or would like to talk to us about this test, please get in touch with us at SureScreen. Thanks.